Hello, my name is Garbo. I'm a self-taught potter and a pottery studio owner. My studio name is called Grumpy Kid Studio, and you can see some of my work here or here. Our specialty is handmade grumpy ceramic, and my specialty is dressing up really cute for these videos. Fashion, work. Back to the topic. Today we're going to talk about something that a lot of you has been asking about, which is how to turn your side hustle into a real business. For my last video, you know that I started from my parents' living room while I was still working at my 9-to-5 in construction. And with the very limited time that I have during the night and the weekends, I was able to turn my side hustle into a real business that it is now. I did it within a year and a half, and now we have a team of 5 in Montreal, where we make handmade grumpy ceramics for all of you. Got a message from my team. Hey, I thought that's when you were coming. At the beginning, I did not have any investors, or did I have a large lump sum of funding. All I did was monthly drops, and all the money that I make from those drops, I save them up and reinvest back to my business. Or should I say my side hustle at the time. It could be a bit slower to do it this way, but to be honest, this is the way that I will recommend to a lot of you. Because by growing slower, it really taught me what is truly important for me and for the brand long term. I believe that this process also allows me to build a deeper connection with my customers because they see my growth from the beginning. And today I have 3 tips for you. And let's start with number 1. The first tip is to use social media wisely. I know this is something that you've been requesting since my last video. And what I mean by wisely is that you want to start posting with a plan instead of just posting whatever you want or whatever you see other people are posting. And the biggest advice I would give to any small business owners with a very limited budget is that be your own spokesperson. This means telling your story about why you created this brand and the process of the making of your pieces, or even how you conduct your business. So a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this. It's not everybody's cup of tea to be in front of the camera like what I'm doing right now. And to be completely honest, at the beginning of my career or my Instagram page, I rarely show my face. I pretty much just show my products or me making the products, but mostly just filming my hands. Because it's so intimidating to show yourself in front of millions and millions of strangers on the internet, especially showing work that you're not really sure about, and putting your face behind the brand could be even more scary. And yes, there are brands that thrive without people showing their face, but from my personal experience, especially if you're selling a handmade product, like in our case, handmade mugs, like this cute little grumpy pumpkin over here, by showing the people behind the product, the people that makes them, the artisans that make the pieces that you're holding right now, it really builds a special connection with the audience. Because now they know who exactly made the piece, and it puts a face behind the really cold piece of mugs or whatnot that you're holding, which also helps to justify the pricing that you're charging when you're putting a person behind the product. And I also find it a lot easier to make content if you're the person behind your brand, because other than just videos about the product, you can also make storytelling videos about why you started your side hustle, why you don't want to work in your day job anymore. Also the storytelling process of why you're making a grumpy pumpkin mugs because it was Halloween a couple months ago. And also just by showing the struggle that you have running your business. I show my struggle online all the time. Like my kiln is failing, pieces are cracking, and to be honest, people love seeing that kind of stuff because they want to see what it's really like to run a business. They want to see the struggles. So justify the pricing again because you see that the product has a certain percentage of failure rate that a normal customer just doesn't think about. I really believe the reason why we can sell out every single launch within the first hour after running this business for 3 years is that the audience, customers, the people following us on the internet, they feel that they have this personal connection with me, the staff, and the Grumpy brand. And once you have this initial core audience, it becomes a lot easier to scale up your business in the long term. I'm not going to go into the detail about how I grow my account from 0 to over 500,000 followers that I have in this video specifically. But if you're interested in the technical side, leave me in the comments and I might make another video about it. But of course, if you want a more in-depth and structured course, you're in luck because thanks to today's sponsor, Skillshare. I'm pretty sure most of you that have been watching YouTube knows about Skillshare. But for me, Skillshare is not only a platform that teaches you basic skills like cooking or crafting, but it also has tools that can help you to turn your side hustle into a solid career like what I did. Social media could seem like a really overwhelming beast at first, especially when you're doing it for your business. But by taking a course that's written by professionals to guide you through the process from A to Z, could definitely take some pressure off your back while you're trying to kickstart your business. Here is my favorite thing that I learned from the course by Taylor Lauren, the head of marketing at Girl Boss. Her course about mastering TikTok mentioned that you don't need a huge following to start making an impact on social media. And that's exactly why people would like to follow you. and be a part of your journey as a small business owner, which I totally agree with. At the beginning of my social media journey for my ceramics business, I wasn't even sharing ceramics. I was sharing air dry clay creation. And those that were following me back in the old days were still sticking around till today when I have 500 something thousand followers. And of course, supporting my business. So Taylor definitely has a point there. If I were a small business owner or a wannabe small business owner, I would definitely recommend taking one of her courses. The first 500 people to use my link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. I know I'll definitely be taking advantage of that because there's some courses that I've been eyeing for a while. Link in the description and start learning. Thanks for sponsoring Skillshare. Stretch break. Tip number 2 is to have a strong brand. What do I look like right now? Okay, maybe I should set up a little bit better. Ideally, you will be able to want to explain your brand in 1 sentence. A phrase is even better. For us, it's handmade grumpy ceramics. Pretty simple, straight to the point. Handmade grumpy ceramics. Also great vessels for your coffee. It's a great branding, trying to brag myself, and also easy to remember, straight to the point, 10 out of 10. Maybe 9 out of 10, just to be a little bit more humble. And here's a side note, at the beginning of my ceramics career, I actually didn't settle down on one facial expression. I was making mugs with so many different types of facial expressions on them. If you know, and you're an OG follower. I think there was sad faces, angry faces, and there's also like confused faces and maybe happy faces even. Shocking, I know. But as I was growing my account and selling more mugs, I realized I really have to find a niche for myself in this market. Even though it's not a huge and super competitive market, that was my feed, not a ghost moving the plant. But there's so many artists out there that are making mugs with faces on them, so how do I make myself stand out? And that's when I realized none of them used only one expressions as their brand, and that's why I picked mine, Grumpy. There are different meanings behind the brand Grumpy. Number 1, I would say it's before you have your cup of coffee or tea in the morning, you feel a little bit grumpy, but after you have the first sip, you feel so much better. And number 2 is because I like to play on contrasting emotions. So the mugs that we have are super cute. So once again, not bragging, but I think they're pretty cute. Can you see? A cute little grumpkin. But by putting a grumpy face on it, you almost started to have mixed feelings. It's so cute, but like so grumpy. They're 2 very strong emotions that are contrasting and making you feel something. Then that's why you probably want to buy a piece after watching my video. Common mistake that I see small business owners have is that they're trying to sell a very common product, but their branding is just not that clear. There are hundreds and hundreds of handmade candle brands out there. What makes yours so special than the other person's? If you tell me it's the formula that makes it so special, then I better be able to find that out without clicking on your website, just through your branding, your logo, the name, or photos on your Instagram. People have really short attention span these days, so you want to make sure that they know exactly what makes your brand different from the others pretty much right at the beginning, or as soon as possible. There's no pressure. But you know, it's a competitive world out there. Yes, I'm reading a script. Sue me. It's funny what I wrote here. People have really short attention spans, so you want to make sure that you can catch their attention, then make sure they know why your candles are different from, I don't know, Jonathan's candles. No offense, Jonathan. Who is Jonathan? Another advantage of having a really strong brand is that you're no longer restricted by the items that you're selling. So because our brand is Grumpy Kid Studio, it's not Grumpy Ceramic. We can use that Grumpy brand and sell pretty much anything that we want. So we have t-shirts, tote bags, stickers, or even me, the Grumpy Potter. Well, not me as a product, but to make content for other brands, like for Skillshare, for example. Thanks for sponsoring. My memory card was full, so I have to delete some clips. I think we're talking about branding. You want to really dig into your heart and ask yourself, what makes my product different from the others? What is it that makes you start doing what you're doing? If it's not something that's so obvious, that's totally fine as well. It might mean that you just need to spend a bit more time on educating your customers, your audience, and also creating a vibe around your brand. One great example of that is Glossier. We all know what the Glossier vibe is about because they spend a lot of money on marketing and a lot of time on trying to tell you, the customer, how fun and bubbly and young and fresh the Glossier products could make you feel. And to be honest, the product they're selling are not so groundbreaking or special compared to the other cosmetic or skincare brands. They're selling you a lifestyle, a community, and asking you to become a Glossier girly. Of course, adapt accordingly because we just don't have the amount of marketing budget as we're small business owners. But I believe that as long as you're telling the same story consistently, people will spread word for you. No matter it's online or offline, you're still able to build an empire based off of really strong branding. The last tip I have might not be something that you'll be thinking about right now, but if you don't think about it, it's going to bite you in the butts long term. Oh, we already said the buzzword already, which is to think long term. Scaling up your business might not be your top priority right now because, to be honest, we're all just trying to survive. Juggling our side hustle and our day job, I totally understand. By thinking long term, you will notice a difference, and especially when it's a mindset difference. And I believe that this tip also correlates with the second tip that we had about having a really strong brand. So for example, one of the other reasons why I choose to have a grumpy face as our branding is that I know that down the line I'll be hiring staff and asking them to do the grumpy face. And it will be much easier to train the staff to be the master of one expression rather than masters of all the expressions that we have in the world. Like, that would take a lot longer to train, wouldn't it? And by having this mindset from day one, it really changed the way of how I own my business and how I manage my staff. Especially changes the way of how I design new products, because I want to make sure that the customers like the product, but also it's easy for me and the staff to recreate it without you guys being able to tell who made which mug. You always want to ask yourself, when I'm doing this, am I the only one that can do this, or can I hire someone else to do this as well? Now thinking about it, I think it also depends on the kind of handmade business that you have, because there are some skills that you just can't teach someone how to do very easily. So it might take a longer training period, more investment in terms of money and time. Maybe you can still outsource other factors of your business. So if you're the only one that can do what you do, you can outsource social media, content creating, or just helping you to package all your products, because that could also take a long time. Whatever you can outsource to other people to do or hire someone to do, try to do it so that you can really focus on the thing that you're really good at. So I know for me, my value is not only at the things I can do with my hands. Am I hiding behind this plant? Do I look like I'm talking to you behind a bush? Anyways, where was I? I know for me, my value is not only at crafting. Yes, I'm really good at making this mug, but I can also hire other people for them to be really good at making this as well. My value that I can't really hire anyone to do is connecting with my audience, doing these YouTube videos or Instagrams or TikToks. So as a result, I purposely create designs that's easy for not just me to do, but also for my skilled ceramicists that I hire to replicate. And by handing that part of the job to my trusted staff, I have more time creating content, generating more audience, and also bringing more income for my business. And by having this long-term mindset, we can start making bolder decisions for our business as well, like buying that piece of equipment that you know might be really expensive for right now, but you will really benefit from it 5 or 10 years down the line, or months, if you can't think that far ahead. And that's why I have this gigantic kiln in my studio when I just moved into this new space, even though I probably couldn't fill the kiln right away, but I know that in 5 to 10 months, we will be able to fill it up almost every other day, which is what's happening right now. And it's kind of crazy because it's a huge kiln that fits like 200 something mugs. Yeah, that's a lot of mugs. And I think it's also a great exercise to apply that to your personal life as well, to think long term. Like, do you really like that guy because he's fun for now? But what about in 5 years, 10 years? Do you see yourself having a future with him? If the answer is no, girlie, you know what to do. Anyways, that's it for my tips. Hopefully you learned something new, or at least felt motivated to turn your side hustle into a business. I know that I could definitely use this pep talk when I was still in my parents' living room to know that everything is fine. You might be struggling right now and not sleeping a ton, but you can do it and the future is near. Let me know what you hear about next in the comments below and I'll make a video about it. That's it. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.